You've seen the ads, right? The promise of financial freedom. They hand you six figures in capital, dangle these huge profit splits, and sell you on this dream of a laptop lifestyle. But the reality? Well, it isn't some bustling city of wealthy traders. It's a graveyard. Look at this number, 95%. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the failure rate. To put that in perspective, you are statistically more likely to summit Mount Everest during a blizzard than you are to hold on to a funded prop firm account for 90 days. It's staggering. So let's get one thing crystal clear right from the start. This massive failure rate, it's not a mistake. It isn't some bug they need to fix. The failure is the product. It's the whole point. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. Think of this as a forensic autopsy of the entire prop firm industry. We're going to uncover the mathematical traps they set, the psychological games they play, their hidden business model, and then, most importantly, we'll lay out the professional's playbook for how to survive it. So, our investigation kicks off with the numbers. It has to, because before they ever get inside your head, they target your account with a very specific set of rules that are literally engineered to erode your capital. To really get the trap, you first have to understand this little glitch in our human wiring called hyperbolic discounting. See, our brains are just hardwired to want a small win right now more than a big win later on. And prop firms know this. They exploit it with things like fast-track evaluations that have these super tight deadlines. It forces you to be aggressive because you want that immediate prize, the funded account, while making it mathematically almost impossible to get there safely. And here's where the illusion starts. On paper, it looks fair. Make 10% before you lose 5%. A clean 2-to-1 reward to risk. Seems reasonable, right? But it's a complete deception. That 5% drawdown isn't a safety net. It's an immediate looming threat that makes the probability of you blowing up incredibly high, long before you ever get a sniff of that 10% target. And this just shows you how razor-thin that margin for error really is. Look, in any real-world trading strategy, hitting a string of 3 losses in a row isn't some disaster. It's normal. It's a statistical certainty that it's going to happen. But in their system, it's catastrophic. Just 3 average-sized losses can shove you right up against that drawdown limit, forcing you to stop trading your strategy and start desperately gambling. And this is exactly why we call it a coffin. Because once you get that close to the drawdown limit, you're not really trading anymore. Your prefrontal cortex, the smart, logical part of your brain, it just checks out. It shuts down. You are now running on pure survival instinct, and I can promise you that is precisely when you are guaranteed to lose. Okay, so we've seen how the math is set up to break your account. Now let's look at the next layer. Let's look at how they target your mind. Because this is where the trap goes from being purely mathematical to deeply psychological. And you gotta ask the question, right? If the rules are this stacked against you, why on earth do so many traders keep buying resets? Why do they keep coming back for more? Well, the answer is a very sophisticated dopamine feedback loop, one that's engineered to be just as addictive as any slot machine in Vegas. And I'm not exaggerating here. The user interface on these modern prop firm dashboards, they are built using the exact same psychological hooks as casino games. Scientific studies show that a near miss, like getting your account up to 8% on a 10% target, it triggers the same dopamine hit in your brain as an actual win. It feels like you're making progress, but really it's just a chemical trick to keep you playing their game. Now that dopamine rush feeds directly into another mental trap, the sunk cost fallacy. Think about it. You've already paid the evaluation fee. You've already put in hours of work. That near miss convinces you that you're not failing. You're just one good trade away. And so what do? You buy another evaluation, and the cycle starts all over again. So we've seen the trap. We get it. But now let's pull back the curtain on the motive. Why would anyone build such an elaborate system designed for failure? Well, the answer is in how these firms actually make money. It's called the B-book model. This is their dirty little secret. The vast majority of traders, we're talking 98% of you, are never trading with real money. You're in a high-tech simulation. The firm isn't funding you. They're just collecting your fees. Meanwhile, their software is scanning for that tiny 2% of traders who are consistently profitable, and it just copies their trades onto the firm's real live accounts. It's simple. They copy the winners, and they farm the losers. Let this one really sink in. For 98% of their customers, the firm has absolutely zero financial reason for you to succeed. You're not their partner. You're not someone they're looking to invest in. You are the product. You are the yield harvested from a never-ending stream of evaluation and reset fees. Okay, so we've laid it all bare. We've dissected the problem. Now let's talk solutions. How in the world do you beat a system that is fundamentally rigged for you to fail? Simple. You stop playing their game and you start using the professional's playbook. Just look at the night and day difference here. The retail trader, the one who's designed to fail, plays by the rules the firm gives them. They use the full drawdown, they get emotional, they trade from a place of fear. The professional prop hunter, they create their own rules. They slash the firm's risk parameters for themselves, they manage their biology with strict protocols, and they hedge their bets across multiple firms. They treat this as a business, not a lottery. And one of the most powerful tools in that playbook is what we call the Amygdala protocol. This is your personal, non-negotiable circuit breaker. You never, ever let yourself trade in that last 1 or 2% of your drawdown. You set your own, much stricter limit, say 4% on a 5% max drawdown. The moment you hit it, you are done. Close the platforms, walk away from the screen for 2 full days. You need to let that stress hormone, cortisol, get out of your system before you can even think about placing another trade. So here it is, your survivor's toolkit. Number 1, inverse their leverage. Use the 1/4 rule. If they give you a 10% leash, you only use 2.5% of it. This gives you breathing room for normal drawdowns without ever entering that survival mode coffin. 2, the Amygdala protocol is law. And 3, hedge your career. Spread your capital across different firms. Never, ever put all your eggs in one basket. And the final piece of the puzzle, it's a mental shift. You have to stop seeing yourself as a customer who's trying to win a prize. That's not what this is. You are an operator, and you are there to strategically exploit a flawed system for its capital. You're not their liquidity. You're a professional there to extract funds. Look, at the end of the day, the prop firm graveyard is filled with really smart people. People who thought they could outsmart the math and outmuscle their own emotions. But you can't. The real opponent in this game was never the market. It's your own biology. So the only question left to answer is this: are you prepared for that fight?